Yay, more interviews. More interviews within my Self-Care for Empath giveaway. We have one of my favorite work study partners, Susi Vine, and I meet once a week to consciously co-work, and I love our accountability. Like, we are productive during that time, and there's such a good flow. So I'm happy that Susie wanted to be part of this giveaway. And her company is 3 times less stress, which we all could use more of that. And her mission is to restore the priority of health and happiness, how happiness can pave the way to success by flipping the script on stress. She helps her clients discover how they can unlock optimal focus and greater success by making space for fun. More fun in our life. And this isn't in her bio, but she also has a podcast called Happified. So you can catch probably 50 episodes of her podcast, which has great content in it as well. So welcome, Miss Susie.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. Yes, I love sharing space and energy and collaborating with you. And I'm so excited to join you today. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. So, why do you think we need to pay more attention to our bodies and our emotions and stress and how it's impacting our life? What's going on there that we should know about?
There's a lot of things that demand our attention, right? It's really hard to sometimes give ourselves permissions to push pause, to check in and see how we are actually doing. We figure if we can keep up, if we can press on through, we're doing good enough. And I would like to invite the possibility that when we make that opportunity to check in, when we make a priority of our well-being, our happiness, our mindset, our health, then we have so much more capacity to do what we want to do to achieve the success that we are reaching for. A lot of times we think success has to come first and then we can sit back and enjoy it. And I think we can kind of turn the tables on that, and happiness can lead us to what we're searching for.
Yep. And what do you think are creating the biggest stressors in people's life?
What I hear most often are the frustrations that there isn't enough time, there's not enough time in the day. And I hear a lot of people frustrated about not getting good sleep. They feel exhausted, they're overwhelmed. When they want to sleep, their mind is so busy that they can't. A lot of people might resonate with that wired, tired feeling that comes from kind of pushing through, working on adrenaline, and being fueled by stress. And in my work with you, you've definitely helped me expand my capacity, my relationship with time. It really is in the eye of the beholder. When we tell ourselves, there's never enough time, my list is never done, it's never my turn, that's exactly what we see, and it's reinforced. And then we get trapped on that hamster wheel. When we look for opportunities, when we take back control of our time and make space actually for play, for fun, we put ourselves first on the list. And I've heard you preach this, so I know that you're on the same page. Everything else falls into place. We come back with more focus, more creative solutions to the problems that we're stuck on, because we have a broader field of vision. We're not completely dialed in on what is stressing us out, this single source, so it's great to live in a more expansive point of view. Definitely.
And what's your unique approach to coping with releasing stress and anxiety and overwhelm?
Well, the first place that I start is helping people recognize that there are two ways in which we perceive stress. Typically, people either feel stress is threatening, oppressive, we feel it's debilitating, and then other people feel that it's an opportunity to rise and thrive. We really see that that's the potential. That's the stepping point where we drop into that flow state, where we can really demonstrate what we're made of and what we
Mm-hmm.
can bring to the table. We use it to leverage our success. When we can flip that perception around, it might be that that's what was patterned when we were younger, the way that we see people in our circles meet stress. And recognizing that we have the ability to change that perception is so empowering. And then once we recognize we can change that, we start to question what else we can change, what we can redefine and
Uh-huh.
bring within our own control. So I love to turn people onto that. One of the exercises that I like to share with people is the pause and pivot. And that pause is just the
Ooh.
quick opportunity, and we have to practice in less stressful situations so we have it honed when we really need it. But that pause to just take a second and ask ourselves, what are we responding to? Are we responding to this situation, or is perhaps something else being triggered? An older emotional situation, something we haven't given ourselves the chance to resolve? Is that what is triggering the stress response? And when we get curious and ask questions, we're already bringing ourselves out of stress and finding more opportunities.
Love it. Love it. And how does being happy actually benefit us? And I think, your word happified, like just hearing that makes me happy. So, can you talk about happiness?
I would love to. It's one of my favorites. Yes, I started the podcast just over a year ago. So we're up to about episode 57. And I get to talk with people who shine a light on different ways that we can all live life with less stress and more flow. One thing, and I've learned so much through my journey. Initially, my company name 3x Less Stress means turning down the volume on emotional, physical, and environmental aspects of stress. Positive psychology shows us evidence that when we put happiness first, it leads to greater success. It helps to fortify our health and resilience. It builds our connection in our inner circles and in our social groups at large. It helps us be more socially engaged. So when we put a priority on feeling happier, it eases the way to reach the goals we have before us. And some people get loaded by this word happy. You might think well-being or a more positive frame of mind. It's not based on
Mhm.
circumstances. It's an inside job.
And okay, so what you just said about some people might get triggered by just even the word happy. What do you think would be a good way for people to approach it? And there's lots of stuff happening in the world today,
Mm-hmm.
right? And yet, from a spiritual perspective, all of these good and bad things are just experiences, and the experiences themselves are neutral. And it's the meaning that we add on top of that experience that
Mm-hmm.
makes it good or bad, happy or sad, stressful or peaceful. So, what are some tools that we could use to help during times like this?
Yes, that's an excellent question, because there's a lot of heavy things happening in the world. I'm not blind to that. I do choose not to put all of my energy on things that are outside of my control. And I really focus on what is within my control. And one of my mentors in this positive psychology space, Sean Acor, says happiness is a work ethic, because there are practices that we can start to build, just like we build other habits, flossing our teeth, you know, running in the morning is one that I'm always working on. I'm definitely, a student of my own work. So by no means have I got this perfected. However, they have found in studies, in watching people over time, when we bring in some simple practices and we're consistent with it, we're actually rewiring our brain to put more value on happier experiences and emotions, because biologically we're wired to respond to stress. That's how we stayed alive and thrived for as long as we have. And our biology hasn't kept up with our modern lifestyle. So when
Mm-hmm.
we teach our brain that we don't have to be triggered and reach that full stress response every time, that we can value the power of connection, the feelings of gratitude. The gratitude practice that I'm sure everyone has heard of is actually teaching our brain to put more priority on these experiences and these emotions, so that as we go through our life, they stand out, they carry more weight, and they help to balance those more difficult times. So, like I said, if happiness feels a little flighty or flaky, then consider building your well being or having a more positive set point, kind of changing the thermometer. So, gratitude practices, random acts of kindness are very powerful. They give joy and they bring us joy when we give kindness to others. So, there's a twofold practice that you can incorporate. Even consistent exercise, 10 minutes of exercise a day consistently teaches you, your brain, that you put a priority on your well being and you're willing
Mm-hmm.
to make that commitment to your improvement. And then it's easier to do other things that you know are good for you because you've demonstrated you can make and follow through on that commitment to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And mindfulness, of course, is definitely one. Tuning into your breath even for a minute or two a day minimum, and so I like to sprinkle those throughout the day, is really powerful at helping us recognize we are not controlled by our thoughts and emotions.
And is there a short, couple of minute kind of guided breath work or meditation practice or something that you'd be willing to guide us through?
Thank you. Let
I
me, let
didn't
me
I
get my
didn't
feet on the floor.
prep you for that, but I thought, you make guided meditations, you do breath work, and I know that you have these tools within you. So would you be willing to allocate a couple of minutes, up to 5 minutes maybe?
Sure, I would love to. Yeah, it's funny how time works. It goes a little bit faster than you think. So I'm sure we'll make it to 5. I'll try to keep an eye on that. So if you
And
are,
by
go
the
ahead.
way, you guys, I've also been flashing up on the screen the link to get Susie's free gift within the giveaway, as well as access to 20 other amazing gifts in this self-care for empath giveaway. So be sure to check that out and, click on it in the chat and type it up there. So with that in mind, Susie, would you kindly bliss us out? Give us some wellness, positive, yummy vibes.
Yes, I will be happy to. If you're in a place that's conducive to getting into a meditative state, if not, remember you can come back to this video and enjoy it later. In any case, go ahead and tune into your breath. And if you're in a space where you feel comfortable and secure, if you'd like, you can let your eyes close or you can soften your gaze. Feel connected and supported in your seat, and let your breath fill in and draw down deep into your belly. Let your belly rise under your hand. Feel that expansive fullness, even
Hmm.
expanding beyond your torso into your limbs. And then let your breath exhale in an easy sigh, letting your breath spill out completely. Beautiful. And on your next inhale, drawing your air again down deep into your belly, feeling that belly area expand. Feel that expansion through your torso and across the top of your chest, out towards your fingertips and your toes. And sigh, gently release that breath, letting any tension or stiffness drain down through your feet. Feeling those feet rooted on the ground, feeling that strong connection with the earth. The earth receives our energy, cleanses and restores our energy, and makes it available to us to use again. This battery that we are connected to is an endless source. We can always come back to our roots just like we can come back to our breath. Continuing your breath at your own easy pace. Let your mind go back to a time when you were simply, purely, easily happy. Feel that smile kind of move across your face. Think of the place where you were. Were you out in nature or were you at an event? Picture the space, the way that the lighting was, perhaps who was with you, and what was unfolding. If you'd like later, you can come back and journal or make a few notes about this and start your happiness inventory. Thinking of this experience, bring in your other senses. Was there any food or drink? Is there a flavor associated with it? Perhaps a scent was in the air, so strong you could almost taste it. Maybe spring flowers or fall leaves, and hearing that crunch. And thinking of this experience and how easy it is to be present when happiness finds you, and the expansiveness of that time. Give yourself permission to really be there. What can you touch in that space? Perhaps think of what you were wearing, if that comes back to you, or if you were holding something in your hands. And how does that emotion feel in your body? Where do you feel that? Maybe happiness is bubbling up in your chest. Maybe you feel warmth in your hands, or you feel charged in your connection to the earth. Think of where that emotion is felt and what kind of perhaps color or texture it might have in your body. Be present to that sensation of this emotion. It's like a bookmark, and when happiness finds you, or when you want to expand your feeling of happiness, this is a place you can come back to check in and see how it feels in your body and in your space. Taking another deep breath, letting that joy ripple out down to your fingertips and your toes, expanding through your energy body, radiating out. If someone is with you in that memory, they can feel this little joy bubble impacting them too. And you share a smile. You thank them for sharing this experience with you. And you thank yourself for creating such a clear, delicious memory that you know you can come back to when you need a little boost, when you need to remind yourself that there are good days, there are shining moments, and there is that joyful energy that we can connect to. And as you enjoy this gratitude for this memory and feel good in this space, bring your awareness back to your fingers and toes. Shift in your seat. Bring your attention back. And I do encourage you, when you have an opportunity, to make note of what came back to mind, any of those senses or the experience, because I do think it's very valuable in the gift that I've shared. The happiness inventory is an exercise that I love to come back to. We can always come back with new, different, happy memories. Sometimes once we start going down that little history, other events that we might have forgotten about come back. So I love to add these to our collection because, as I said, sometimes our brain, some people say, bad experiences are like Velcro and good experiences are like Teflon. So when we take the opportunity to give more weight, more value, really revel in the feelings of these happier opportunities, we can call them back so much more easily.
That was lovely, Susie.
Thank you.
Can I tell you what I experienced?
I would love to hear.
Okay. So at first, I had this image of just being a toddler and joy. And then it flashed to when I was 6. I think I was 6. And at that time, both of my parents were horse trainers. My dad still is. And this was when they worked at a barn in Malibu that was just underneath this castle. And we could take the trail down to the ocean and ride along the sand. This was when it was still legal. And I just remember like being on my pony, boogie shoes, and just joy beaming from me, and joy from the sun being, coming down, and smelling the salty air, and the smell of horses is like
Yes.
such a good aromatherapy for me. And maybe not horse poo-poo, but like horses, right?
There's a difference. I'm a horse girl too, exactly. It's such a signature horsehair and leather, and yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And and I feel like, okay, I can consciously energize those happy, joy-filled moments and have them as like a muscle memory, a cellular memory to just go to when I need a little pick-me-up.
Because we often do. We often do need these boosts, and it's so empowering to recognize we can create these little set points for ourselves. I'm so glad that came back to you in such delicious detail. That's wonderful.
Thank you. That was fun. And can you tell us more about your gift?
Love to. So my gift is 7 steps to a happified mind. Steps, secrets. I'll let you in on my treasure trove. And with that, you get a short ebook / PDF. You get a little guide. It's not by any means a shopping list. Choose one that stands out to you, start there, and then come back to it over time. I like to build on habits and celebrate those wins. You get a short video to go along with it. If you'd rather watch and take that in, then strictly rely on the written text. And then with that too, if you would like an opportunity to schedule a call with me, I'm sharing 30 minutes. And that's that opportunity to take a look at those sneaky stressors that might be adding up. So you have more capacity, more resilience to handle the things that life serves up. So I want to make that opportunity available too. I think we don't often let ourselves recognize that we have power to turn things around and recognize how those little things can be adding up. So I love to help people lighten the load through that conversation.
I love it. So thank you so much, Susie. Thank you to our listeners. Please go pick up your gifts. Get them now. And the giveaway is for the remainder of this week only. So get your gifts now. Share this with other people so that they can also collect as many of these amazing free offerings as they like.
So many delicious things inside, Tiffany. You have really brought together an amazing selection of experts and resources that people can take advantage of. So I hope that they are in there checking those out.
Yes, I've been hand selecting, some people that I really wanted to be a part of this giveaway. And so I hope you love them as much as I do. Any final words before we close for the day? Well, for this interview, I still have one more at 4:30.
You're working on all cylinders. I just thank you for this opportunity. And I hope that something that's come up through the conversation, or maybe those few minutes to meditate and check in, will stick with you, because it's so important and empowering to recognize that we can take control of these things that feel bigger than us, that feel like they're stretching us to our limits. There's a lot of things that are really stressing us right now. And when we step back, when we take a look at what is within our control, where we can take action, we can start making a little space, giving ourselves a little more capacity, and showing ourselves a little love, so that we have more to give to the people we love and the work that we love to do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.